So in this class today we'll talk about data types and type conversions. Today we'll talk about flow control. As I promised, I'll be talking about flow control in this class. So when we talk about flow control, you'll find that we have just a minute. Yeah. So we'll talk about flow control. You see, when we talk about flow control constructs, you have two different types of, we can broadly classify this flow control constructs into two types. One is conditional constructs and the other one is looping constructs. We can broadly classify the flow control constructs into two types: conditional constructs and looping constructs. So conditional constructs, you'll find that we have four different types of conditional constructs, like simple if else, if else, if, and switch. Looping constructs, we have while, do while, for, and for each. So these are four different types of looping constructs. Yes. So first of all, we'll start with conditional constructs. So what are conditional constructs? Conditional constructs means basically we can use these conditional constructs to execute any task, based on a condition, based on a rule, I can say, or based on a condition. If you want to execute a task based on a condition or a rule, we use these conditional constructs. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there is a question. So what about break, continue, return? So what are they? Break, continue, return. They are used to control this looping constructs. And generally, return, it is not. It is generally for the method. Okay. Generally, it is for a method to return the control to the calling method. So at appropriate time, I'll be talking about that continue, break also. Okay. So which are used to control looping constructs. But fundamental constructs are this. Okay. So these are the constructs which will find. Yep. So looping constructs, okay, conditional constructs, as I told you people, in order to accomplish a task or a goal based on a condition or a rule. We use conditional constructs. What about looping constructs? You'll find that looping constructs are used to execute a task repeatedly, finite or infinite number of times. Looping constructs are basically used to execute a task finite or infinite number of times, I can say. Yes. It is used to execute a task finite or infinite number of times. So if you want to execute a task repeatedly, finite or infinite number of times, you can go for looping constructs. Yes. Just a minute. Hi Rajeshwari. Hope you can hear me. I guess this is your first class, right? So I'm talking about flow control constructs, okay, in Java. Just listen to me. So I'll talk to you after the class. So hope you're able to hear me, right? Please confirm. Rajeshwari. Hope you can hear me, right? Okay, fine. So now we'll talk about our first conditional construct, that is simple if. So we'll start with simple if. We'll start with simple if. Okay. You see the syntax for simple if, this is how it looks like. If we'll have a condition and we'll have statements associated to it. So this condition basically you'll find that it is used to execute a task finite or infinite number of times. Okay, generally, sorry, condition. Sorry, this condition will be a Boolean expression. I'm sorry. This condition which you got here, it will be actually a Boolean expression. So always will specify a Boolean expression. I can say yes. So Boolean expression means for if condition, see this condition should be a Boolean expression. So what do we mean by a Boolean expression? What do we mean by a Boolean expression? True or false? Yeah, you see, when that expression is evaluated, when that expression is evaluated, you'll find that the result of that expression will be a Boolean value. The result of that expression will be a Boolean value. Okay. The result of the expression should be a Boolean value. Yes. So if this condition is true, then you see the block associated with the statement will execute. If this condition is true, then what happens? The block which is associated to the statement will execute. That is what happens. Okay, fine. So let's take an example for this. Just a minute, let it load. Janta. Okay. So for suppose, let's say we have a price of a product. Let's say it is $50, something like that. $50. You know what? What I want to do is I want to write this logic. What is it? If the price of that product, if it is greater than, if the price of the product, if it is greater than 150 $150. So what I want to do is I would like to print a message that the product is taxable. I would like to print a message that product is taxable. Yes. Okay, I want to print a message that the product is taxable. That is what I would like to do. Okay, so for that I'll write if condition. You see, if price is greater than 150, then I want to print a message product is taxable, something like this. See, as of now product price is 50, so it is not greater than 150, so this condition fails. So the result of this expression, you see, this is a Boolean expression, so this is actually a Boolean expression. So the result of this expression is actually false. When this expression is evaluated, it is false. So because it is false, what happens? You see, the block associated to this if condition will not execute. The block associated to this if condition will not execute. Okay. So what will be the output? Nothing. There won't be any output now. Okay. Yes. You see, let's execute this code. Let's run this code. Okay, you got the console which is blank. That's it. There is no output. Okay, for suppose if the product price is 250, if the product price is 250, then in this case you will find that the price is greater than 150, so the condition is true. So this Boolean expression, when it evaluates to true, I can say. So if the condition, because this condition is true, so the block associated with this if condition will execute. That's it. So it prints price is taxable. Okay, yeah. So this is how simple if works. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. So you see, this condition which you got here is a Boolean expression, I said, right? It should be always a Boolean expression. For suppose if I do this, you see I plus equal to 150. So this is what type of expression? You see, I can say that this is an arithmetic expression. This is actually an arithmetic expression. So when this expression is evaluated, the result of this expression will be, what will be the result of this expression? Yes, what will be the result of this expression? It will be around 400. Yeah, it will be 400 actually. The result of this expression will be 400, which is actually an integer value. But this if condition always it expects a Boolean value, either true or false, not an integer value. Yeah, so you're going to get this error. It says type mismatch, cannot convert from float to Boolean. Okay, one a float value is sorry, you'll get a float value because both are float types. So you get a float value. So which is incompatible type now with Boolean. Yes, fine. So see, this is simple if, that's it. This is simple if. You will find that you'll not have any else block here for the simple if. There won't be any else block. That means if the condition fails, we don't have any alternate task to execute. If the condition fails, we don't have any alternate task to execute in this case. So if the condition fails and you want to execute some alternate task, if the condition fails and if you want to execute the alternate task, then you should go for if else. Then you need to go for if else, I can say. Yes, if else. That is the second type of looping construct. If else. If else. The syntax of if else is you have to add this extension, that's it. So we'll have a else block for this if. We'll have a else block for this if. So if this condition fails, earlier we didn't have any option to execute any task, but this time you see if the condition fails, so we can execute this. alternate task, I can say. We can execute this alternate task. What is it? You can write it in that else block. Okay, you can write it in the else block, I can say. Yes. So now you see, I'll add a else block. Say will print a message: price is not okay, product is not taxable if the condition fails. So I'll make this price 50. If the price is 50, that means the condition fails, right? If the price is 50, the condition fails. Yes. So what is the condition this time? You will find that 50, is it greater than 150? No, condition fails. So that else block executes, which prints product is not taxable. That's it. Okay, that is what happens. Fine. So let's run this code. Okay, this time you'll see this message: product is not taxable. So this is about if else. That's it. Now let's move on. We'll talk about another type of conditional construct, that is if else if. If else if. So what is special about if else if? You see, I can say that again, if else if is an extension to if else. If else if is an extension to if else. You see, in case of if else if, you will find that even for the else block, even you see for this else block, you can add a condition. Okay, you'll find that even for this else block, we can add a condition. Yes. Yes. This is if else if. You see, for the else block, I can add a condition. Yeah. And you can have any number of else if blocks here. Any number of else if blocks that is possible. You can add any number of else if blocks. Yes. So now let me give you people an example where you need to you will need to sorry, you need to use that if else if. So what is that example? Let's see. So an example where we need to use that if else if. So let's take this example. Let's say I have two variables with some numeric values in it. Okay. Now, your task is to compare these two variables, find out uh, compare these two variables and check which variable is greater than which variable. So here, actually, we'll have three possibilities. When we compare these two variables, I can say that we'll have three possibilities. First of all, A can be greater than B. Okay, A can be greater than B. Second thing, A and B, sorry, A can be greater than B. Second possibility is B can be greater than A. And third possibility is A and B can be equal. A and B can be equal, right? So the result of that comparison can be one of these three possibilities, right? So A can be greater than B, B can be greater than A, or A and B can be equal. So we have three possibilities. Okay, we got three possibilities. So That means how many conditions we have to check here? How many conditions we need to check here? Okay, do we need to check all the three conditions? I can say that we need to check two conditions. That's enough. You see, if we can check A is greater than B and if B is greater than A, if both the conditions fail, then automatically the third possibility will be true. Yes, yes. Two are enough. Yeah. And one more thing. Sai Surya, hi. So actually the class starts at 7 p.m. Indian time. Okay. So from last few days, class is starting at 7 p.m. Indian time. Okay. So half hour early, 7 p.m. Indian time instead of 7:30. Okay. Sai Surya. So it's not at 7. So now let's try to write this code. You see, if A is greater than B, we'll print A is greater. You see, now we have to check at least two conditions, right? Now we have to check for the second condition. So for checking for the second condition, you see, I'll use else if. Else if, you see, if B is greater than A, then only we'll print B is greater. Then only we'll print B is greater. Else we'll print, what will be the third possibility? You see, A and B are equal. That's it. A and B are equal. Okay, A and B are equal. So these are the three possibilities which you got here. These are the three possibilities which you got. Yes. Okay. So, but if you can check for two conditions, it is enough. Automatically, if the first two conditions fail, that means automatically the third condition will be true. Yes. But if you want, you can also add this condition here. If A equal to B, okay, but this is not needed, but you can do this. If A is equal to B, then only you can print that A and B are equal. Yes. So let's run this code. So in this case, it prints B is greater. Yes, that's it. So this is how you can use else if block. Else if, I'm sorry. You know what? You can add any number of else if blocks here. You can add any number of else if blocks. Okay. Yes. In the last, else block is not mandatory. Even at the end, else block is not mandatory. So is it clear for everyone? So any questions in this regard, please let me know. Okay, good. So now we'll move on to the third type of flow control construct, that is switch. We'll talk about switch. Just a second. We'll talk about third type of switch. So let me write the syntax for the switch here. You see switch switch here. Just a minute, just a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. So let's see the syntax of switch. Switch, you'll have a selection value, I can say, which we need to pass. We need to pass a value to the switch. In switch, you'll find that you'll have several cases. So each case will have a value associated to it, and you can have set of statements. Yes. Okay, so there is a question. The curly brackets, are they mandatory for if blocks, if you have only one statement? I can say it's not mandatory if you have one statement. Okay, so for if condition, if you have only one statement, curly brackets are not mandatory. But if you have more than one statement, then you have to. Okay, but you know what? I really appreciate if you people use curly brackets. Because why? It makes the code more readable. Someone will easily understand, okay, where it starts, where it begins. So what is the scope of this if condition and all. Okay, hope you people got it. So I strictly follow this because I want to make sure that even others who read this code, they easily understand this code. What I'm writing, they should be able to understand. Okay, fine. So otherwise, people will end up with confusion. Let's talk about switch. You see, to the switch, we can pass the selection value. To the switch, we can pass a selection value. So the selection value, it can be, okay, any value, as it will be passed as input. You see that value which is passed onto the switch, if it matches any of these cases, you see, as of now here we have three cases. If that selection value, if it matches any of these cases, then in that case, that particular case will execute. Then in that case, okay, for example, if that value, if it matches the second case value, then that second case statements, whatever the statements which you got for the second case, they will execute. Yes. And what if you know none of this case values, if they match that input value? What if none of the cases they match that input value? Okay. Yes. So if this value, selection value, if it doesn't match any of these case values, then what happens? The default case will execute. Default case executes. That's it. Okay, Rajeshwari, sure, I'll do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let's take an example here for switch also. For suppose we have this a value 20, and I'll add a switch. So you see that A value will pass it on to the switch as a selection value. The D value will pass it on to the switch as a selection value. Okay, yes. So I will add some cases here. See, something like this. Let me write it and then I'll explain it. A value is 5. We'll see. I'll tell you. So we'll talk about this case, switch case completely. Don't worry. Okay. So now this time what happens? You see, A value is 20. So that A value we are passing it to that switch. So switch will take that A value and it will check that A value it matches which case. So in this case, it is the second case here, it matches that A value. Second case matches that A value. So second case value is 20, which matches A value, which is 20. So the statements associated to the second case will execute. You see what is it? A value is 20. It prints A value is 20. After that, you see we got a break statement. So break statement instructs the control to terminate the switch. So it won't execute any further. Okay, it will not execute any further. That's it. Fine. So let me run this code. It should print A value is 20. Okay, it prints A value is 20. Fine. Now you know what here? What if I don't add a break statement here after this? Sorry, you see, for that case 20, I'm not adding a break statement. So then what will be the output? What do people think? Yeah. So you see what it does now. It first executes that case 20. It prints that that statements associated to case 20 will execute. So it prints A value is 20. After that, there is no break statement. For that case 20, there is no break statement. So that case which follows case 20, that is case 30, it also executes. If there is no break statement, the next case which follows that case will execute. Here the next case is case 20, it also executes, which brings A value is 30. So after that, you see we got a break statement. Here the the switch terminates. So this time it prints A value is 20 and 30. A value is 20 and 30. That's it. So this is how it works. For suppose, let's say if a value is 200, then what happens if a value is 200? Yeah, so it should print a default. Yes, the default case should execute, right? So let's say I'll just add this message default case. So let me run this code. So it prints default case. That's it. Okay. You know what? You might be wondering, so why we need to add the break statement? Actually, if we don't add a break statement, if we don't add a break statement, then why the next case executes? So how is this useful? Of course, definitely this kind of flow is also very useful. Let me give an example where you may need to use this kind of flow. Okay? Yes, let me show you people. So maybe in this case, if you're checking for a value and printing it, maybe this is not appropriate because it prints a value is 20 and a value is 30. It doesn't make any sense, right? But I'll give you another example where you may need to do this. Okay? Yes. So let me declare a variable, something like this, ch, let's say b. Okay, chb. So now I want to check in uppercase or lowercase. Okay, just a minute, please. I'm sorry, just a minute. Sorry, can you people hear me? Okay, good. Now what I want to do is here, I would like to check whether the given character is in uppercase or lowercase. That is what I want to do. Okay. I want to check whether the given character is in uppercase or lowercase. So for that, you see, I'll use this switch. Okay, let's use this switch. So I want to check whether that given character is in uppercase or lowercase and print the message accordingly. So we'll pass that character variable value to the switch. So the ch is a variable of type character in which you'll store a character variable. So we'll pass it to the switch and we'll check it here. So let me write this code and then I'll explain it. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Uh, I lost the connection for a while. Sorry. So I'm writing this code. Just a minute. I'll explain it. So hope you people can hear me, right? Okay, thank you. Yes. See, now the switch case, what I'm doing is, if the given value, if the given character value, if it matches any of these case values, then I would like to print a message that given character or given alphabet, I'm sorry, given alphabet is in uppercase. Okay, yeah. And similarly, I'll do this. If the given character value, if it matches any of these case values, then we'll print that given alphabet is in lowercase. That's it. That means, so what you need to understand is here, you see, for set of cases, we got the same task to execute. For set of cases, we got the same task to execute. Okay, for set of cases, we got the same task to execute. That's it. So for the default, we don't need a break. So I'll just add default case. That's it. Okay. Yes. So let's run this code. See, it prints given alphabet is in uppercase. You see, for this requirement, this flow looks good, right? You got it, all of you? For this requirement, this flow looks good. If you don't add a break statement, you see, the next cases will execute. For set of cases, we have the same task to execute. The set of cases we got the same task to execute. Yes. Sorry. We got same task to execute. Actually, you can write from A to Z. I've written only cases from A to E. And one more thing, you can actually add all these cases to a same line. Okay, not a problem. You can also do this. It's same. it is same. So is it clear for you people, all of you, how you can use this flow? Okay. Now actually, you know what? For this requirement, for this given requirement, which you people saw now, that is to check whether the given alphabet is in uppercase or lowercase. So we can also go with one of the conditional constructs. Which one? We can use this conditional construct. We have one more choice here. We can use another conditional construct. What is it? So for this given requirement, we can also use another conditional construct. What is it? If else. If else if, I can say. If else if. Not just if else if, it will be if else if will be more apt for this. Right? Okay, not more apt, but you can use it. But which one do you think is better? Which one do you suggest? Is switch case better for this one, or if else if is better? Switch looks a lot easier, right? Yes, switch looks easier compared to if else. Yes. So this is about conditional constructs. And one last note, you see, uh, the case values in a switch should be similar type. For example, as of now, you see the case values in the switch are character type. So they all should be character type. We cannot use one case value as character and the other one as integer and the other one as boolean. Okay, please remember. So the case values should be same type. We cannot use different types of case values. We cannot use different types of case values, I can say. So case values are supposed to be same type. Case values are supposed to be same type. Yes. So hope you people got it. Fine. If it is clear, then I'll close this conditional constructs and we'll move on to looping constructs now. Looping constructs, sorry. So when we talk about looping constructs, as I told you people, we have 4 different types of looping constructs. And looping constructs are basically used to um, execute a task finite, repeatedly, finite or infinite number of times. Okay, yes. If you want to execute a task finite or infinite number of times, then you can go for looping constructs. For example, you see, let's consider this while loop. We'll start with while. The syntax for while loop is this. syntax for while loop is this. See, the syntax of while loop, it looks similar to if, right? If, simple if, but they are different. How, I'll tell you. You see, for while loop also, we'll have a Boolean expression, of course. Okay, we'll have a Boolean expression here. So if this condition is true, then the block associated to this while loop will execute. So whatever the statements which you got here in this block, so they will execute if that condition is true. You know what? But there is one important thing. So after the block execution, this while loop will not stop here. Again, the condition checking will be done. If that condition is true, again the block executes. And this will be done repeatedly. Okay, the block associated to this while loop will repeatedly execute till that condition fails. Okay, first condition checking and then block execution. Condition checking, block execution. So this will repeat n number of times till that condition fails. That means that condition, the Boolean expression, it should evaluate to false. Okay, yes, fine. So let's try to use it. Okay. Just a minute. Hi Nishita. Uh, so is this your first class? I guess this is your first class, right? Or are you a student already logged in now with a different name? Is this your first class? Okay, okay, fine. May I know your reference? Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so you both are friends, fine. Okay, just listen to the class, Nishita. I'll talk to you people after the class. Yeah. Okay. So, fine. Let's start with this. Uh, First, suppose, let's say we have this SOP statement. SOP statement, which prints hello world. Okay, if I execute the statement, it prints hello world. That's fine. You people know that. So it only prints hello world once. It prints once. For suppose, if I want to print that hello world statement 100 times, okay, then in that case, in that case, do we need to write that SOP statement 100 times? See, just think about it. If we are supposed to write that 100 hello world statement 100 times, and of course it will be difficult, right? It would be difficult. You see, this is where your looping constructs will come into the picture. So we have to execute a task that is printing that hello world statement. Okay, printing the task. So I want to print it repeatedly. How many times? 100 times I want to print that hello world statement. So same task has to be executed 100 times. So you see, in this case, you can go for looping constructs. Yes, Nishita, it is recorded. Yeah. So classes are recorded actually. Yes. So let's try to use this while loop. Yep. Let me write a while loop to print the statement, hello world statement. Let's say as of now we'll print it 50 times. Okay. I less than 50. You can print it 100 times, not a problem. I'll do this. So what happens? You will find that when this program executes, initially I value is 0, right? Initially that I value is 0. Yes. So now you see this condition will be checked. What is the condition? While I less than 50, this condition will be checked. So is I less than 10? Yes. Sorry, I less than 50. Yes, I value 0, it is less than 50. The condition is true. So the control enters into the loop, which prints hello world. That statement executes, which prints hello world. And after that, you see the statement executes I plus plus. So I plus plus statement, it is same as I equal to I plus 1. I equal to I plus 1. Yes. Yeah. So that means I value will be incremented by 1 when that statement executes. So I value is 0 initially, now it becomes 1. I value is 0 initially, now it becomes 1, I can say. Yes. Fine. So I value becomes 1, and then you see again the condition checking will be done. So there are two statements which are in this block, they will execute. After these two statements executes, you see I value becomes 1. So that 1 is less than 50. Again, the condition checking will be done. Okay. Yes, 1 is less than 50, of course. So again, the control enters into the loop, it prints hello world, and then again I value is incremented by 1. So it becomes 2 now. So this way you see this while loop and the block associated with this while loop, it will execute for I values 0 through 49. 0 through 49. So once I value reaches 49, once I value reaches 49, you'll find that this loop, it breaks. That's it. The loop terminates or it breaks. So that is how it works. Okay. Yeah. So 0 through 39 means, sorry, 0 through 49 means it will be altogether 50 times. So that block associated is while loop will execute 50 times. So once I value reaches 50, once I value reaches 50, so what happens? That loop breaks because that condition fails. I less than 50. 50 is less than 50? No, right? 50 is not less than 50. So the condition fails. Okay, so let me run this code. So you'll find that hello world will be printed 50 times. Okay, don't start counting. Trust me, it will print 50 times. Yeah. Okay. So this way you see, we can execute a task repeatedly, finite or infinite number of times, you can say. We can execute a task repeatedly, finite or infinite number of times. Okay. So this time finite number of times, that is 50 times we are executing it. So first suppose, what if I remove the statement I plus plus? If I remove that statement, then what happens? Okay, you see, so actually uh, that I value is 0 and it remains 0. So in that loop, we are not incrementing that I value. We are not incrementing that I value. So I value remains 0 forever. That means this condition associated to this while loop will be always true. 0 is less than true. So it will be always true. Okay, it will be always true. Yes. That means the while loop will continuously execute infinite number of times. It will continuously execute infinite number of times. Yes, that is what I. So it will continuously execute infinite number of times. Okay, so it's not stopping. Yes, that's right. So I'll stop it here. You see, it will keep on executing otherwise. So it is printing that I value so many times. Sorry, hello world so many times. That's it. So this way we can create a finite loop or infinite loop. Yes. Yeah. So this is about while loop. Next, for suppose here, let's say, okay, I got that condition. Sorry, let me add that statement I plus plus. Let's say if I values 100, then this time, so what will be the output? So it won't print anything. You see, that condition fails, right? That condition fails. So because the condition fails, sorry, just a minute. Because the condition fails, 100 is less than 50, right? Because the condition fails, you see, so the block associated to that while loop will never execute. So block associated to that while loop will never execute. Okay. So that means at least the condition has to be true at least once. Then only the block associated to that while loop will execute, otherwise it won't. Okay, you see, if I execute this code, the console is blank. That's it. Console is blank. Yeah. Okay. Next, we'll talk about do while. Do while is quite opposite to while loop. Do while is quite opposite to while loop. So you see, in case of while loop, first of all, the condition checking will be done. If that condition is true, then only the block associated to that while loop will execute, right? Otherwise, it won't. But in case of do while, what happens is first of all, straight away the block executes. First of all, straight away the block executes. Okay, whatever the statements which you got in the block, first of all they will execute, and then the condition checking will be done. First block execution, then the condition checking. If this condition is true, again the block executes. The block associated with that while loop will execute. This is what happens in case of do while. Okay, yeah. See, the same condition if we write it for do while. So this is do while. You see, do we have block followed by the block we have this condition I less than 50. So if I run this code, so what will be the output? So this time it prints hello world just once. That's it. It prints hello world once. That's it. So that is what it does. Okay. So for suppose if I set it to 0, then what happens? Okay, in earlier case it prints 1 as I told you people. I run this code. So it just prints hello world once. If I set this condition this way, if I value is 0, let's say, then how many times this loop iterates? How many times this loop iterates? Yes. So it will iterate 50 times. Okay. So when you will need this do while, when you will go for do while. So what do you people think? When you people will go with do while? Yes. Can you people give me an example where we may need to use do while? Yes. Okay. Yes. You see, for the example, you can take it of ATM. So generally, in ATM machines, uh, you see, if you swipe your machine, sorry, if you swipe your card, first of all, it will check the condition. Sorry, it will ask you people to provide the PIN. After PIN, after you supply the PIN number, it won't immediately validate your PIN. First of all, again, it will ask you people for the type of transaction you want to perform, whether withdrawal or whether balance inquiry, whatever it is. Or suppose if you have selected withdrawal, then it will ask you people to provide the amount, and then you'll confirm it. And then only at once it will send all this information to the server and it gets validated. So if the PIN is valid, then you'll be allowed to withdraw. Yes. So that means even before the condition is satisfied or the PIN number is valid or not, you will be allowed to, you know, select all those options. You'll be allowed to, select the type of transaction. Okay, you can supply that withdrawal amount. You can confirm everything is fine. But at the end of the transaction, your balance will be, sorry, your PIN number will be checked. Only at the end of the transaction, the PIN number will be checked. That is what happens. Okay. So hope you people got it. Yes. So is it clear for you people? So any questions in this regard? So that ATM example, you can take it. So, have you realized it? Definitely only after you supply that, sorry, you'll find that after supplying the PIN and all the transaction type details, then only at the end of the transaction it will first validate it. Then only it will validate it. At the last, your PIN number will be validated, and then you'll be allowed to execute the transaction. Yes. So any questions in this regard, please let me know. So hope this is clear, right? Yes. Any questions? Okay, fine. So if it is clear, then I'll stop it here today. Okay. So in the next class, we'll continue our discussion. I'll talk about the other flow control constructs which you have, looping constructs like for each arrays concept. Tomorrow we'll try to close this looping constructs. Okay, we have nested loops, break, continue, such things we'll discuss about it. Okay, yeah. So I will stop it here today. Yes. Nishita and Rajeshwari, I guess you people have missed that previous classes. I'll try to share the records. Okay, yeah. So if you got any queries, please let me know. You can do one thing. Yeah. No, it will be 50 times itself. It will be 50 times itself, not 49 times. It will definitely execute 50 times because it starts with 0, right? It will be 50 times, not 49. Sure. So, so if you people want access to the records, please drop me a mail to this ID. I'll share the records. Just drop me a mail to this ID. I'll share the records through Dropbox. So generally, from day after tomorrow onwards, we'll have the classes for 2.5 hours. Okay. Yes. So one more note, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you people. So we'll not have any class tomorrow. Okay, there is no class tomorrow. Yes, there is no class tomorrow. So we'll meet again on Thursday, Thursday, sorry, at the rate 7:30 a.m. Central Time. That means 7 p.m. Indian Time. Eastern Time it is 8:30. So it will be 2.5 hours. So I'm going to complete this flow control. Till we complete that flow control, I'll take the class. If we can complete it in 2.5 hours, we'll do it in 2.5 hours. Session will be for 2.5 hours. Okay. So tomorrow there is no class. Please remember there is no session tomorrow. We have a class day after tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. Okay. So Indian time it is Thursday 7 p.m. Indian time. Yes. Thursday 7 p.m. Indian time. Yep, that's it. So if anyone didn't get the access to the records, please just send me a mail to this ID. I'll give the access to the records. Okay, yes, fine. So that's all for today. Thank you all. Bye bye.